There's nothing better than a dry-aged steak. Since now it is possible to dry age at home, I've been addicted to it. At the same time, many people have always asked me, Guga, can you dry age only one steak? I've never been able to answer that question because it's not even a thought for me. Dry aging takes time, and spending all that time in only one steak, it's definitely not worth it. But at the same time, if you want to try it to see if you like it, that's a valid question. And today I am putting that to the test, so let's do it. To ensure there will be no variation between steaks, I am cutting everything from the same piece. I'm aiming for 1.5 inches thick ribeye steaks. Once I was done cutting, I was left with 4 beautiful choice grade ribeye steaks. I'm giving these ribeyes what's called a super trim. This part where you see there's almost no meat, and I love to use it for my burgers, so I'll be completely removing this one. Once the trimming was done, I was left with 4 beautiful steaks. My goal is to resemble what you will find in your regular grocery store. Since I have 4 steaks, I'm not going to be dry aging every single one of them. We're going to do 3 different styles. This is an Umai dry bag. Even though it's called a bag, it is a membrane. And the great thing is that it allows you to dry age at home without any special equipment. Depending on the kit that you choose, it comes with large bags. You're also able to find smaller ones. And since I'm dry aging only one steak, I'll be using this one today. The great thing about this membrane is that it allows moisture to escape without allowing anything bad to get back in. Since these steaks are completely cut, we need a special setup. The first thing I need to do is choose the steak for the dry age. And I'm feeling this one will be great. As you can see, the top of the steak, there's no moisture. If I just put it in the Umai dry bags, it won't have great contact. You want the meat to stick to the membrane. And the way to do that is to get a little bit of water on top of the steak. And here's how to do it. Just get the surface nice and wet with cold water. Be sure to apply it to both sides and add the steaks to the bag. The kit comes with this special fabric which allows you to suck all the air out. Using any regular vacuum sealer, just seal as much as you can. Once I was done vacuuming, you can see there's still a few air gaps, and that's okay. Now all there's left to do is put it on a cooling rack to have it dry aged. Normally, I would dry age a whole piece for no less than 35 days. But if I do that to this one steak, there's not going to be anything left. So I've chosen to go 14 days. Now there's nothing else to do but leave it in my regular refrigerator until the time is done. The very next steak, we're going to be using it as a control. Now to preserve this steak as fresh as possible, I will be freezing it. If I leave it inside of the refrigerator for 14 days, it will be wet aging. That's not what we want. As a control, it will be frozen and then slowly defrosted. It is the closest thing that we can get to a fresh steak. Our next experiment is very interesting. I'll be using butter and fish sauce together. If you are unfamiliar with fish sauce, there's a lot of people that swears by dry aging it with a few days is amazing. And here's how to do it. To the bowl, I added 3 sticks of room temperature butter followed by 2 tablespoons of fish sauce. Then I mixed everything well until everything was combined together. I started by spreading one side as much as possible. It is important that you cover every single piece of the steak. If you don't, the parts that are uncoated will be completely oxidized. Then I laid it down on some parchment paper. This part is crucial because it ensures me that the bottom is completely covered with the butter. Now all there's left to do is spread the rest on top and on the edges, and my fish sauce butter dry age is ready. The very next one is pretty similar, but instead of using fish sauce, I decided to use thyme. Then I combined everything together with the butter until I made a nice herb paste. I'm doing the same exact process of the previous steak, which is coating the first side, then laying it down on parchment paper and then finishing it off on the top and the edges. Once I was done, you can see no part was left uncoated. Now that we have both steaks ready, all there's left to do is put it on my regular refrigerator and wait 14 days. After 14 days, I took out of the refrigerator, and this is what the regular dry-aged steak looked like. Even before opening the steak, there's a huge dent. It shrinked the steak tremendously, especially on the eye section. This is expected, and what dry-age does, it allows the moisture to escape from the meat. Then I quickly opened it up, and this is what it looks like. Once I hold it in my hand, I can tell you that it feels hard, and it's also pliable. And smelling it, oh wow, it smells nice. I would say this is a perfectly dry-aged steak. One of the biggest fear I had dry aging only one steak was the amount of loss we're gonna have. So I started by trimming the edges off. I have never been so careful trying to remove as little as possible. When you are dry aging a big piece, you really want to take out as much as you can. And with this steak, I was really careful not to take too much out. A lot of people have always asked me, Guga, why don't you just leave it and eat it with it? Guys, it's not good. It is great for something like a long cook like a chili, or maybe even making hamburgers out of it. But to cook it medium rare on a steak, it is not ideal. Trust me, you will not like it. Once the whole trimming was done, I was left with a tiny little steak. I would normally trim even more, but I feel like if I do, then we'll have no steak left. It used to be 1.5 inches thick. I would say now it's less than 1 inch. After doing so many dry ages in my life, I can also tell you that it feels just like a real regular dry aged steak. It also smells wonderful, and I can't wait to find out what it tastes like. By that time, the herbs and the butter dry aged ones were also ready. The interesting thing about the butter ones is that it becomes a crust, and you can just crack it open like a nutshell. You can easily peel it off like nothing. Once I smelled it, it just smells like regular butter, nothing else. And this is what it looks like. Even though it looks a little bit oxidized in some parts, I say that it's perfectly preserved. Then I jumped right into the herbs one, and as previously, it cracks like a nutshell. A lot of people have asked me before, Guga, can you reuse the butter that you dry aged with? I am not sure if you can. I recommend not to. Even for basting, I don't recommend using it. It is best to discard it. After removing it, you can see that it's slightly oxidized as well. But the wonderful thing is that no trimming is needed. I would say the steak remained the same exact size it started with, and that's a plus on my book. The control steak was also defrosted and it remained the same size. Once that was done, this is what they look like. To make sure I really tasted the steak, I only seasoned them with salt and pepper, nothing else. Now that I have all these steaks seasoned, I'll be using my wireless thermometer to ensure they're all cooked to the exact same temperature. But now I say it is enough talking and it is time to cook them. So let's do it. All right, everybody, we have our beautiful steaks here. What do you think, Angel?
Well, they're a lot better than last week.
That's right. Today I got a big what?
Crust.
We are the crust people. If you don't make a steak with a crust, it's not good. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah. And last time I did it last week, we had the pineapple steak and didn't have a wonderful crust. And crust is important.
Very, very important.
What is that face? You didn't like that pineapple?
That pineapple was so bad.
Don't go watch that video, please. Anyway, they want to see us try our steak, Angel. Are you ready to try it?
Sure, let's see.
So we have an experiment here. We have steak A, B, C, and D. I want to know which one you like best and what is the difference between them. But I say it's enough talking. Let's give them a try, yeah? Cheers, everybody.
Cheers. That's a good steak.
That's a Guga steak right there, my brother. That's what I'm talking about.
Way better than last time.
That's a good one. That is phenomenal, everybody. Absolutely fantastic. It's time for the second one. You ready?
Always ready.
Dig in. Cheers, everybody. Second one.
A good one.
That's nice. More tender. Super juicy. I'm about to go like this. Man. Oh, I like that one.
It tastes almost like if you marinated it or something.
Yes. It's true.
You marinated it?
No, I didn't.
Oh. I thought you were saying like yes because you did.
There's no marination whatsoever. But you can definitely feel a different additional flavor. Like there's some additional taste in there, like some herbs in there, or some marination in there.
There's something going on here. It doesn't have, and even the aftertaste is a little bit
Has
different.
a nice aftertaste in the end, and that taste is nice and
it lingers.
yeah, it stays there in your mouth. That is wonderful. Okay, ready for the third one?
Yes.
Go for it, Angel.
Dry aged steak. Let's go.
What do you mean dry aged steak? Why are you saying that? Just because it's smaller?
No. I'll know for sure after I try it.
Look, Angel is becoming a steak guru. You know, I can't even trick him anymore. Just because the steak is smaller, you automatically assume that it's dry aged.
Next time you gotta cut them all nice and small like that, like so they all look like that.
Third one, everybody.
Oh man,
What happened, Angel?
it's dry aged steak.
The dry aginess is there. You can feel that dry aginess. Right away, it hits you. It's not an overpowering taste.
It's an amount that is perfect for me, if you ask me. So how many days was that?
How many days of what? Dry aging? I can't even trick him anymore, everybody. He's getting too smart on me. I'll tell you after we try all of them. Sounds good?
All right.
But yes, you are right. It is dry age. All right, Angel. Let's go for the last one.
This is gonna be a good one. Best for last.
Cheers. Oh.
Well,
You say best for last.
well, I was wrong.
What happened? You didn't like that one? I must say,
It wasn't the
super
best.
tender,
It is tender.
but it has an off flavor.
Yeah, the aftertaste on this one's a little bit.
Describe it to the audience what you feel on that one. You immediately go to the second one.
See my face?
No description necessary.
If I have to describe this one,
Tell me.
I will say everything I love about this one is the opposite in this one.
It's
Is
just
that
the opposite.
The opposite flavor of this one.
All right, you ready to find out what it is?
I mean, I know this one.
You know this one right here. So all of these, I wanted to do this video to give an experience to somebody that never dry aged before, to let them know to try only one steak dry aging. Is it worth it?
Yeah, for sure.
It
I
works.
think, you know what? I think that's awesome. Yeah, that's a good idea.
It works. You can give it a try.
Let's
I
say-
would recommend a little bit thicker steak though, because this is a little bit too thin, you know. And
But then if they go thicker, then maybe they have to go longer. But regardless, I think if you're trying, like, let's say you've never had a dry aged steak before.
a lot of people ask me all the time, Guga, what does dry age feels like?
Yeah,
What?
if you've never
very
had it,
difficult
then-
to describe.
One steak by itself, you put it in a bag, dry age it for 14 weeks.
It is not a big commitment, everybody, and you can give it a try yourself at
Wait,
home.
how long? How long was that?
14 days.
Oh, days. I keep saying weeks.
Damn,
So-
14 weeks, Angie? Are you crazy? We don't recommend this one, everybody, the fish sauce.
Do not put rotten liquid on your steak.
That's right. And if you are wanting to try and not have a big commitment with a big piece of meat, this is recommendable and it is worth it. And
I
it
like
works.
that one, yes.
I would say I cut my steak 1.5 inches thick. Just cut it maybe 2 inches thick. You will have a better yield. But this worked out great. Anyway, guys, these are the results. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do enjoy this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber, be sure to subscribe for future videos. Remember, if you are interested in anything I use, everything is always in the description down below. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys on the next one. And as you can see, you're going straight for the dry age, huh?
I cut some for both of us. You know? I'm a nice guy.
I see that. Very nice. Oh, we got to where the thermometer was.
What are you gonna do?
Don't matter. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you on the next one. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
So good.
That is my favorite one. You? I'm between this one here and this one here.
I have to go with this one just because it's the perfect amount of dry age for me. But this one is so good. If this wasn't here, it would have been this one for sure, 100%.
There you go, everybody. Our favorite is this one. Second one is definitely the herbs. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.